Hello, this is Mish with another review of a TV show. So this time I'm looking at The Strain Season 3 Episode 1, which just aired a few days ago. Just before I start, just want to say a big thanks to everyone that commented and thumbed up my other video in this channel. This is, I guess, an offside project I'm doing with this channel, and it was really encouraging to see all the positive feedback and great response I had on that video, so thanks a lot for that. So just so you know as well, I am aiming to pick up a camera so I can, I guess, obviously have some footage of myself talking whilst talking about these TV shows and movies going forward, as I know still photos aren't the most interesting thing to look at all the time. But for now we'll just have, I guess, photos of the actors and actresses and just me rambling away. So I hope that's okay for now, but I am working on progress in this channel. Also, if you've not checked it out, please check out my gaming channel, as that's where this has all begun. But anyway, okay, so let's move on to the actual Strain Season 3 Episode 1. So the title of this was called New York Strong. Also, just beware, spoilers. If you've not seen this episode, go and watch it, then come back and have a listen, as this will contain many spoilers. And also, same for Season 2, I'll be mentioning things in there because obviously the character progression. So of course, because it's been a while since anyone's seen, obviously, Season 2, there was a bit of a prologue, I guess an update. So that is Setrakian having, I guess, an update of what's going on regards to the actual plague or the disease or the virus or the outbreak, whatever you want to call it. So he mentioned that whilst it was positive in a way what was done in New York, and it was sort of being contained, in the end it did spread out to other cities. And as soon as that has happened, all the military has been pulled out of New York and spread everywhere else, because I think they're just assuming New York is a lost cause and it's more important to stop it going any further. So that was an interesting spin that you didn't really get before. I mean, you always assumed that things were turning bad everywhere else, but it never really confirmed that. So it was good to hear that. And also, like the comment he was saying, when was it a good idea to quarantine everyone in with the virus, with the outbreak, because it was like feeding, giving the prey a whole bunch of food to eat, which was an interesting idea, I thought. Anyway, so after that, we kick into some new characters, which were the Navy SEALs. And what an awesome opening scene that was as well. I really liked it. And it was actually really refreshing to get a bunch of characters that you don't really know that, I guess, positive, and they're competent as well. They're not just dying aimlessly like, I guess, previous soldiers and army people were doing in the Strain. So it was really cool to see that they were really kicking some ass in that initial scene, which was cool. And they were working with Vasily, so he was on the surface giving them directions, and they were, I guess, obviously from the army, government, Navy SEALs, and temporarily there helping out. So then we move on to Ephraim Goodweather. So he is waiting at home, and if you don't know, so in the end of Season 2, his son was captured, and Nora was killed. So I assume his assumption is that he's already been turned, and he has a dream at the start of it, and the son turns up, Zach turns up, and he's going to shoot him, but he runs out of bullets, but it was a dream. But yeah, as usual, he's obviously back to drinking, which isn't good, but yeah, waiting there for his son to turn up, because that's obviously how the strain spreads as it does. In the end, he doesn't turn up there, well, in the initial phase anyway. So you also see a bit more of what he's been doing over the few days since that's happened. So he's built, I guess, constructed a lab in their, I guess, main base, and he's working with Justine. So that's Justine Feraldo. So she's the, I guess, the leader of the police and army, with the combined forces that are working on trying to contain New York or help New York. So he's working directly with her on the bioweapon at the moment. So she's providing him resources, and he's working to provide the weapons. And you also see as well during that whole time just how, I guess, bad things have got. You see in the background there's a few things going on. There's not many people around. The people that are around are just kind of looting. He's even looting himself as well, and he's doing it in such a casual manner. You know things are bad when that situation would occur. So he's just looting to trade and then get food. And also the same thing, he runs out of gas a bit later on, and he has to start stealing it. So, the infrastructure's gone. The people are left are looting, trading, so it's a pretty bad state there. But by the look of it, there's still a healthy population of police, but they're all just concerned with getting their, I think they're calling them munchers for now, which is an interesting name. And then, I guess after we see a bit of that Ephraim, we move on to seeing what Abraham Setrakian is up to. And he's working with Quinlan, and they're trying to decipher the lumen. So, it's always fantastic. I really like Abraham Setrakian, the character and the actor that portrays him. It's really good. He always has really good comments, and the lines are delivered really well. And it works quite well with Quinlan, because they're both so dry that it's really awkward, but really amusing. But yeah, so interesting to see what they're going to do, and is Quinlan going to backstab anybody? What's going on with that? And then obviously we go back to Justine. She's now got Vasily Fett to go to her office to have a chat to try and get those Navy SEALs to help her out, because she knows that her resources are so stretched. Whilst she's making progress, the amount of people she's losing making progress, it's going to end at some point. So then we kind of cut to what Gus is up to. It's not a big scene for him, but it's very interesting that he seems to have, I guess, reclused back to his house, looking after his mother, who's obviously she's gone, but he's still trying to keep her alive and feed her and control her, which is an interesting spin. I wouldn't imagine he would be doing that, and interested to see where that character goes to. Then we see a bit of Quinlan talking to the Ancient Ones. Now, there's some interesting stuff in that conversation that he was having with the Ancient Ones. You might need to listen to it again to really. It wasn't actually that clear. I didn't find it clear. Some of you may have, but he was referring to. So he's talking to the Ancient Ones, and he was saying the old world and the rest of the seven. Now, I'm not that familiar with the comics. A little bit I am, but that situation is new to me. So we might learn more about that as time goes on. So they are 3 of the 7, and what does happen to the other 4? Quinlan's assumption is that the Master has already taken him out, but there was no information. There's no confirmation of that, and interesting to see what if we're going to learn more about that situation. And after that, there's only 2 more real major things that happen. So Icorst is back in it, and once again, another great character, really good acting. So Icorst sets a bit of a trap and leads the Navy SEALs with Vasily over to, I guess, a church. And unfortunately, the Navy SEALs are all taken out because the Master is there. So obviously they realized the threat that those SEALs were having. They were actually doing some real damage to them, taking out big populations of the infected or the munchers. So they had to bring out the Master to take them out. Interesting as well, the technique where he disabled them with must be ultra high sound. But yeah, I didn't think that was a real, I didn't think it would be necessary for him to do that. I mean, he moved so fast anyway that he took them out without a problem. So what was the point in that whole high-pitched noise thing? And on to, I guess, the final situation. What happened? So you saw Zach still alive, which is good, and with his mother, Kelly, I guess you could still call her that. And a whole weird scene of him turning into Norman Bates. But anyway, but yeah, so he's still alive, which is good. But the downside is that the Master and Kelly are now going to use Zach as leverage to get the lumen. Now, is that the real plan, or is it something else going to happen? Are they just going to keep Zach and take the lumen? But we don't know at the moment. I guess you got to take it by what they've suggested, which is they're just going to trade Zach for the lumen. But I don't think that will be the case, because I think the Master knows how important Zach is to Ephraim and how dangerous Ephraim actually is. Even though it looks like that Kelly could probably take him out there and then because he's completely surrounded. But anyway, right? We'll let that situation slide. Also, just before I finish, 2 characters that were missing from this episode was Dutch and Palmer as well. I'm not sure, what the situation is with that, but obviously, hopefully we'll see an update from them next time, because both those characters are quite interesting. So overall, it was a good episode. I enjoyed it. Not a lot happened. I think it wasn't a filler episode. I didn't get that feeling. It was more of a catch-up episode. They needed to move the story along. Definitely stuff has happened. We know more about the situation. I guess probably the most important thing that we learnt is, I guess, the situation around Justine Feraldo, is that her situation is probably the most important of what's going on. If she fails, the city's gone. She's the only thing that's really holding the city. Whilst, obviously, Setrakian, Quinlan, and Ephraim are all very important to actually trying to defeat the Master. They're really, I guess, the strike team, the point of the spear, but without Justine, they'd be ruined because they'd be completely overrun. So interesting to see where she's going to go and how she's going to, I guess, keep the city going. But yeah, I really like that whole, it was a suggestive, a lot of it was suggestive to say the situation of the city. It wasn't that obvious. A lot of it was background shots of stuff going on, but there was enough there to see things are getting worse, but not massively. There's still an infrastructure going on with the policing, but yeah, the people are getting pretty nasty. What's left of them anyway. So I did like the episode. But yeah, and I really did like the action on the initial scene and the whole Navy SEALs. I thought that was really cool. I really liked the camera angles. I really liked the night vision and the heat vision. I thought it worked really well. So that was pretty cool. Straight into the action as well with those guys, which was nice. But unfortunately, they did all get wiped out because I guess watching shows like this, you kind of get sick of incompetent characters getting taken out so easily. The characters that you never know their name are generally going to die. So it was sad that they did get taken out. But anyway, and old Icorst, fantastic acting. Just his smile makes you so angry, and it's fantastic. It's really good. I really like that. I mean, probably 90% of the actors and actresses in this show are really good. A few of them definitely let it down, but for the most part, the ones that are in it are really good, and I really like them. I'll probably get into the negatives a bit later, but I want to keep this one quite positive because it was a positive episode. So I'll probably just leave it here. I hope you enjoyed my rambling, my thoughts on this episode. If you liked it, let me know. Put some feedback below. If you're watching it, obviously let me know as well. If you got some suggestions for other TV shows for me to look at, by all means, put the comments below and I'll have a read of them and check them out. I was thinking Fear of the Dead and Walking Dead, but that content is pretty heavily saturated on YouTube. Whilst I love those shows, apart from the last, Fear of the Dead was not very good at all, but whilst I normally love those shows, and I would like to talk about them, I just get the feeling that it might be a bit redundant. But anyway, so let me know. Obviously, thumbs up if you liked it, thumbs down if you didn't, and subscribe for future content from myself. And as I said, I'll endeavor to get a camera so I can, make the content a bit more engage with you guys a bit better. So this is Mesh, and I'll sign off from another video. And until next time, cheerio.